Welcome to Urban, an ambiguous little fictional town in the post-apocalyptic Deep South somewhere outside Atlanta. You're the new kid on the block, having just been rescued and taken in by a kind-hearted coalition of Southern survivors after your police-escorted ambulance that was fleeing the CDC got hung up by a zombie horde. Why are you fleeing? Well, stop me if you've heard this one before, but it turns out you're somehow immune to the virus and potentially humanity's last hope of seeing the sunrise. But that won't stop your new friends from immediately sending you out on a long series of suicide missions to tackle everything from rival biker gangs to zombie-worshipping cultists.
Understood.
Oh, and while you're gone and not busy fighting for your invaluable life, don't forget to rummage your way through every cabinet, trash can, and corpse pile you find because everyone back at the shelter is too busy burning through supplies to go out and find more supplies. Luckily, you won't be the only zombie bait out there because each time you depart, you'll have your chance to choose from up to 4 other companions, each of whom has their own set of starting stats and unlockable perks. Not that you'll need much more than knives out there, as the Walking Dead seem perfectly content to walk themselves into choke points and let you poke them in their already decaying brains one at a time until they stop moving. Thus, man remains yours and the world's most dangerous enemy, and Molotovs remain his most trusted and overpowered companion. If and when you do get horrifically maimed, you can apply bandages to stop the slow bleed and a med kit for a big health boost. And if you make it back to base, the resident doc will patch you right up. Die in the field, however, and your squad mates will stay dead, or worse, reanimate and need to be put down a second time. So, in order to maintain a squad made up of the most narratively significant characters, you'll want to take your time stealthing your way through each map, and remember to regularly manually save because the game's autosave feature sucks big necrotic zombie dong. All this in mind, here are my scores for Urban Strife. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to praise at this point in Urban Strife's development, which shockingly has been going on for 7+ years. I think it's safe to say this game spent a little too long in the oven. A lot of features from the original demo back in 2017 have been replaced by more complicated yet somehow less interesting revisions. Gone, for example, is the adjustable character skill point tree, replaced by a cryptic perk system I still don't fully understand after 10+ hours with the game. And the original hand-drawn character thumbnails that fit pretty nicely into the game's admittedly rustic aesthetic have been replaced by shiny and shitty AI-generated art. Meanwhile, significantly more pressing concerns have gone unaddressed. Looting, a core mechanic in the game, is deeply tedious, forcing players to individually select dozens of small containers and collectibles per building, each with its own maddeningly small clickbox. Inventory management isn't much better. While I do like being able to open 2 party member inventories at a time, transferring items to and fro feels clunky, and relevant information across the board is often microscopic. Add in a lot of repetitive go here, kill that objectives, sluggish combat animations, a sprinkling of bugs, bland visuals, boring music, and that awful autosave feature I mentioned earlier, and well, the entire Urban Strife experience just slows down and can't seem to get out of its own way. That said, there is a lot of content here, so if the above gripes don't really bother you, and you're okay with a narrative that lazily mashes up all the familiar zombie show tropes to come out in the last 15 years,
I'm doing stuff, Lori. Thanks.
well, you might end up having a pretty good time with Urban Strife. The core premise, after all, exploiting rival factions in order to better prepare your shelter to weather a giant zombie horde, is compelling. And it's fun tracking your survival progress versus the big bad horde meter that grows ever larger. In the end, I'm giving Urban Strife a subject to change aggregate megascore of 2.69 out of 5, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the game or my review. Until next time, this is Scope, and thanks for watching.